Tonight, a possible class action lawsuit against the New South Wales government, and Supermaxi Ichiban sails to victory at the Lincoln Week Regatta.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Casey Treelaw begins now.
Good evening. Broken Hill City Council will investigate options for a class action lawsuit against the New South Wales government. The revelation comes after a councillor put forward the motion at Wednesday's meeting.
A new push to make those in charge own up.
Would force the state government and the federal government to actually implement policy that would ensure the safety of the Darling River and the Menindee Lakes, and I think ultimately that's what everyone would want to achieve.
Councillor Kennedy put forward a motion on Wednesday night to see Broken Hill look into a class action lawsuit against the state government and Murray-Darling Basin Authority. The reason behind the class action? The alleged mismanagement of the Darling River and lake system. But his motion was watered down through an amendment.
So they're still investigating a class action, but what has been removed is to approach firms that offer a no-win, no-pay, and also approach Central Darling Shire and Wentworth Shire.
While disappointed with the change to the motion, Councillor Kennedy says looking into a class action is a good first step.
There's a significant amount of loss just in Broken Hill, but further away in Menindee and stuff like that, there's much more significant loss to individuals, not as much money probably across the board.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
South Australia's moratorium on genetically modified crops is hindering rather than helping farmers. It's the view of an independent report released this week, which has debunked claims of price premiums for GM-free produce.
It's a controversial topic with polarising views. A moratorium on GM crops has been in place in SA since 2004, with transport companies even banned from trucking products between eastern and western states. The status of GM-free was thought to put a premium on the state's crops. However, an independent report says that's not the case.
A $33 million loss since the moratorium was introduced, but that loss will continue while that moratorium remains in place.
17 recommendations were made. It's debunked the theory SA grains have better access to most markets because they're GM-free. But the report also supports GM-free zones for regions that do benefit. Mr. Whetstone says scrapping the moratorium could bring in vital research and investment dollars.
I think industry now see an opportunity that they would like to see the moratorium lifted.
Grain Producers SA also wants to see the change. Director Dion Woolford says it's about giving farmers a choice.
We want to restore the choice to our growers and allow them to choose the crops that best suit their land.
State Labor, which introduced the moratorium, says it's still assessing the report.
There's shadow cabinets and there's our caucus. This will be opened up to discussion.
An upper house inquiry on the subject is also due to report back soon. John Hunt, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Augusta Secondary is one of only 10 public schools across the state set to share in $56 million of state government funding, with a view to support projected growth in enrolment demands.
On a pupil-free day with not a student in sight, teachers at Port Augusta Secondary School were also thrilled to find out their workplace is set to receive a slice of $56 million. The school is one of a select few chosen for the state government's Capital Works package, allowing the construction of new infrastructure to prepare for the expansion of the school.
That means a growth in student numbers from 700 to 900 in our capacity over the next 3 years.
With Year 7 due to transition into public high schools in 2022, the focus will be on providing those students with new learning areas like science labs, performance studios and state-of-the-art classrooms.
The national curriculum expects that Year 7s can be taught specialist subjects by subject specialist teachers in specialist learning environments.
It comes weeks after the school unveiled its new STEM centre and will work with the state government over the coming months to plan for even newer facilities, helping to set it apart from the rest.
It's enabled us to develop a very diverse range of curriculum offerings to meet the needs of all of our students, which for our school is very important.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Despite a funding boost for public schools across the state, the Teachers Union have threatened strike action if current negotiations with the state government fail. The union wants to see financial backing for smaller class sizes, as well as more support for teachers of kids with special needs. This comes after educators walked off the job last November following failed meetings between the union and the state government. The company that owns the Whyalla Steelworks has secured new funding from international financial houses. US finance company White Oak and UK firm Greenhill Capital have signed a deal to provide finance to GFG. $650 million will be made available. The money will go towards working on capital and growth opportunities in its Australian operations. In a statement, CEO Sanjeev Gupta says the new funds will help underpin the company's plans, which include an upgrade of Whyalla's ageing steel plant. State and federal governments are calling on drought-affected farmers in regional areas to apply for a new water rebate scheme. Funding of up to $25,000 is available to purchase essential water infrastructure.
Dry, desolate conditions and livestock with scarce food and water. These are the familiar scenes for drought-stricken farmers across the region. A lack of water access is a common problem, but new funding for water equipment could be a solution.
Well, this is actually a very important grant for primary producers.
The Emergency Water Infrastructure Scheme will allow landowners to claim 25% and up to $25,000 of the cost of new pipes, pumps, tanks, troughs and more.
Equipment which will allow them to either use less water or perhaps use it more efficiently.
The partnership between the federal and state governments is targeting primary producers with grain and livestock.
It's far, far better if farmers can prepare themselves for drought so they don't actually have to go begging for help when they're on their knees.
Farmers who have recently splurged on water equipment to battle the dry conditions will still see the benefits, with grants backdated from July 1st last year. The federal government says this is a critical step towards helping those doing it tough on the land.
Being able to invest on that ongoing basis in drought reform, in assistance for farmers to build up their operations is going to be a great thing.
For more information, visit the South Australian Primary Industries website. Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, a funding boost for an innovation hub in Whyalla and Supermaxi Ichiban sails to victory in Port Lincoln. Welcome back. Whyalla's new innovation hub has received a funding boost from the federal government. The University of South Australia securing $500,000 in support that'll help bring the idea to reality.
It's a hub aiming to provide an opening for local ideas to be delivered to the world. Whyalla's new innovation centre receiving a boost today, with the federal government committing $500,000 to the project.
Very exciting thing for UniSA and for Whyalla. We're developing a high-tech point of interaction.
And we're really excited to be able to now push ahead with our plans. We've got really ambitious plans.
The funding will help develop the former library into a modern connected space. There's plans for new video conference facilities, along with meeting spaces and extra technology to complement the high-speed internet. As well as that, Mr. Havelberg says there's plans to run some new programs and events.
Startup weekends, hackathons, and those sorts of activities to help people get an understanding.
Whyalla Council CEO Chris Cowley has welcomed the support, saying the finished product will be a boost to the local economy.
We're encouraging high-tech, innovative solutions to any of the problems that might exist in this world.
Mr. Ramsey says the centre will also act as a place for people to refine their ideas.
But that's important too. I mean, people need a place to bench test their idea.
John Hunt, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Tumby Bay Area School has opened its first STEM Space Learning Centre this year. The program was entirely self-funded as the school was unable to get government allowances. Gadgets such as Spheros, Makey Makers and Bee-Bots, just some of the equipment being used.
This was really an important aspect of student futuristic learning that we wanted to make sure that our students had delivery of.
I think it's very important because most of jobs that we get will definitely involve coding and robotics and stuff like that.
The school says it's providing students with new skills and problem-solving techniques, with plans in the future to further expand the program. Members of the Australian Ballet are giving Port Pirie students at the Mid-North Education Centre a chance to practice some moves. It's all part of an education program called STEAM Dance, a unique way to teach maths and science through movement.
A touch of grace in the classroom. The Australian Ballet has pirouetted their way into the hearts and minds of students at Port Pirie's Mid-North Education Centre.
So the Australian Ballet's STEAM Dance program travels all around Australia, going into schools, primary schools, secondary schools and in the community, delivering inclusive dance workshops.
The unusual method of teaching aims to achieve a high level of student engagement by learning through action. Don't be tricked by the name. STEAM Dance isn't just about dance. The program offers a unique way of exploring science, technology and engineering through movement. These dance instructors work to incorporate what students are learning in the classroom by translating it into dance. Physical education is also a major component, with participants learning about warm-ups and the human anatomy.
A bit of a link to maths or a link to science, as well as bringing in elements of the ballet.
Students were rewarded for their efforts, with the visiting instructors debuting a new performance.
We have the costumes, the music, and students will see a performance at the end of the day, either of Coppelia or of our new duet called Plain Jane.
The dancing troupe will spend the remainder of the month visiting schools in Port Augusta, Port Lincoln and Whyalla. Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The TCOR Lincoln Week Regatta has come to an end, with Matt Allen's Ichiban taking out the Division 1 win. Last night's presentation celebrating the success of this year's 69th event of competitive sailing.
It was a night full of celebrations. Cheers! As this year's TCOR Lincoln Week Regatta came to a close. A strong fleet of 42 boats took to the water, but it was Matt Allen's Ichiban winning top prize for Division 1.
We felt like we sailed really well. We had really good competition, but it's always good when you come out on top.
But it was eyes on Andrew Coletto's Shining Sea, who swiftly moved into second place, beating Adelaide boat Secret Men's Business.
We're a bit surprised that we won the PHS as well as the rating series, so we're ecstatic. The crew did a great job.
As part of the Lincoln Week Regatta, several young people were given the chance to compete against the elite. Peter Teakle's boat, Born to Mentor, giving sailors the chance to work on a racing yacht.
The rest of the crew are young juniors as well, ranging from about 18 years of age, 16, 15.
16-year-old Hamish Swain is Australia's windsurfing champion and was one of the juniors on Born to Mentor.
Being on a yacht is completely different to being on a windsurfer, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity that it's allowed me.
Next year celebrates the 70th TCOR Classic, and organisers say it's shaping up to be the biggest one yet. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. A splash of Mardi Gras in Port Pirie and Broken Hill's top tennis players set for an interstate tournament. Hello again. There's been a splash of colour added to the front of the Port Pirie Regional Tourism and Arts Centre. It's part of the Sydney Mardi Gras and it's the only art installation located in South Australia.
This vibrant high hill called Turn the Party is quite the statement. It's the only one in South Australia and it's found a home in Port Pirie. It's one of 8 art installations being put up in regional Australia to celebrate the LGBTIQ+ communities as part of Sydney's 2019 Mardi Gras. Local My Kitchen Rules star Sal was ecstatic to see the town's new addition.
It's helping them and it's supporting them, and that's the best thing that you can do for the LGBTIQ community.
ANZ have partnered with Sydney's Mardi Gras to create a geographically diverse campaign, which aims to shine light on issues affecting rural communities.
Everyone deserves the right to feel celebrated and accepted and loved, and that's what this campaign does.
If you're driving past Port Pirie's Regional Tourism and Arts Centre, don't worry, you're still on Eli Street. The sign's name is simply a symbolic gesture to Sydney's Oxford Street, the home of Mardi Gras. Even Port Pirie's mayor came down to pay homage on the back of his brand new Harley Davidson.
And our feeling was that this is a tourism and arts centre, and this actually ties it all into one piece. We're talking about a piece of art that explains what we're about.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A fringe show will open up in Port Lincoln this weekend, teaching audiences the art of Moroccan culture. The workshop Mizan Zaman teaches sacred geometry. Through a 2-hour lesson, people will use traditional Moroccan tools to create their own leather artwork.
And this is a big part of my workshops, is to slay the inner critic, is to trust in the energy of creativity and embrace your mistakes.
Easy way, they come here, they enjoy the magic of the moment.
The audience will also get the chance to learn traditional Moroccan music. The event is being held as part of the Adelaide Fringe Festival, with tickets being sold online. Port Lincoln's West Coast Swimming Club has appointed a new head coach to better prepare athletes for state competitions. The club also kickstarting a unique fundraiser to support the local team.
He's the new guy in town training up our athletes. Grant Muller is the new coach for the West Coast Swimming Club.
As a club, strongly that we needed to provide an extra level of professionalism for our swimmers, which led us down the path of employing Grant Muller.
The decision to hire a coach comes after a resounding win at the recent state championships. The club deciding to partner with YMCA to fund the position.
We've also managed to secure Grant extra work with the YMCA, which is invaluable in getting a head coach to Port Lincoln.
Grant says he's enjoying the new position.
No, they definitely put the work in, and a good bunch of kids to be around.
The club has also started a unique fundraiser.
We're selling pavers at the moment.
The fundraiser offering people to name or hand-draw messages on the pavers, which will be laid out at the entrance of the leisure centre. With 50 square miles to fill, organisers are hoping it'll help pave the way to future success.
We've only just started selling them now, and it's looking really promising.
To buy a paver, email the West Coast Swimming Club for a form. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Broken Hill has sent a squad of top tennis players to an interstate tournament this weekend. The Redcliffs Australia Day Championship was supposed to be played last month, but was pushed back due to extreme heat.
One of the biggest Redcliffs teams in Broken Hill's history.
This year to get 18 is a remarkable effort, I think, for all the guys, and the interest has stood out. We've got a few juniors going as well, and it's excellent.
Over the next 2 days, a group of Broken Hill tennis players will take part in the Redcliffs Lawn Tennis Tournament in Victoria. The team will play across a number of grades in both the singles and doubles events. The association president saying the change in scenery and style of tennis gives locals a new experience.
It's very good for Broken Hill tennis. It puts a lot of interest in the tennis. Guys who go down come back very sort of enthusiastic about the competition back here.
Among the players going down, youngsters Josh and Mackenzie Niaros, Matt Handberg, Truan Rowlands, Nathan Crabb and yours truly. It will be the first Redcliffs for 2018 Broken Hill tennis champion Ross Casey, a likely favourite to win the open singles.
Yeah, looking forward to the first trip down there. Obviously didn't play last year, so yeah, haven't played too much on natural grass, so I'm looking forward to it.
The tournament kicked off this afternoon. Patrick Roenke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break as we hear from our local cricket tipsters, and we'll take a look at this weekend's weather with Nicole. Welcome back. Now it's time to hear from our local cricket tipsters on this weekend's action.
Hello and welcome to the first week of finals action in Port Pirie cricket. This weekend it's the qualifying final with Wandera taking on Solly North at Port Oval on Saturday, with the winner going through to the grand final. Wandera have been the most consistent team all season and will start this match as favourites. Solly North have regained their early season form and will be looking forward to this opportunity. I'm tipping Wandera in a close one.
Yeah, g'day and welcome to the first week of finals for Port Augusta cricket.
South Augusta have marched straight in the grand final due to finishing top. Westies, due to finishing bottom, have been knocked out. So this week's game we see Corn take on Central Stirling. Last week Central Stirling actually beat Corn, but Corn just came off a week-long tournament in Adelaide, and I can't see Central Stirling repeating the win. So this week I'm going to go for Corn to beat Central Stirling and therefore go on to play South Augusta in the following week's grand final.
Welcome to round 10 of Whyalla cricket. Saturday sees 3rd versus 4th place at Memorial Oval. North would have to go into favourites, but with a couple out, South might secure their first win for the last 2 seasons. My tip, South Whyalla in an upset. Sunday will see 1st versus 2nd at Memorial Oval. Central Whyalla have already secured 1st spot with a win last week against Norths. Central will have Scott Collison and Daniel Collison out for the clash, which will see Rapina going in as favourites, and my tip for the weekend.
Welcome to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. First game sees Lincoln South and Todd River out at Poole Oval. Going to tip Todd River to get up in this one. In the next game sees Charlton and Waybacks here at Centenary Oval. Going to tip Charlton to bounce back and get over the line just in this one. And in the final game, a match of the round out at Ravendale is Southern Air versus Tasman. Be a really good game of cricket. Tasman's up in the second, looking to hold on to the double chance. Going to tip the Tasman boys to upset the league leaders, Southern Air South. Thanks for listening to the Port Lincoln Cricket Tips.
Final minor round of Barra District Cricket this weekend. North play West in the first game at the Alma Oval. West have only made 50s in their last 2 innings, so they'll certainly need to make a lot more than that to upset the Northerners. In the other game, South take on Central. Central haven't beaten South this year. I think they're hitting form at the right end of the season. I expect that they'll possibly topple the Southerners for the first time this year.
And time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Nicole.
Thanks, Casey. Well, it was a warm and sunny day across the Gulf today, with Port Augusta reaching a top of 35 degrees, Whyalla 32, Port Lincoln 27, Broken Hill 33, Port Pirie 35 and Adelaide fine and 32. On the satellite today, patchy cloud over the far west near a low pressure is bringing virtually no rain. Skies are clear under a broad high pressure system. Taking a look at the waters for tomorrow, easterly to southeasterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, seas at 1.5 metres. And the sun is starting to rise a little later, due at 7 a.m. tomorrow with sunset at 8:05. It's looking to be a sunny day tomorrow. Port Augusta set for 38 degrees, Whyalla 33, Port Lincoln 29, Coffin Bay 32, hot in Woodner 38, Corn 36, Broken Hill 34, Port Pirie 36, Clare 32, Cleve 33, Kadina 35 and Adelaide 34. Looking ahead to the start of next week, it will remain warm in Port Lincoln, 33 on Monday. Cleve looking to warm up by Tuesday with 39 degrees and some hot days coming up for Woodner, 40 on both Sunday and Monday, 42 on Tuesday. 35 Sunday and Monday in Whyalla, Port Augusta some hot days ahead, 41 by Tuesday. Temperatures consistent for Kadina in the high 30s. Port Pirie some cloud about Sunday, 36 on Monday before 40 on Tuesday. Some fine days for Clare with temperatures in the mid-30s. And Broken Hill 33 both Sunday and Monday, 34 on Tuesday. And that's all for tonight's weather. Have a great weekend. Casey, back to you.
Thanks for that, Nicole. And that's the local news this Friday evening. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your evening. Good night.